Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much, as always, for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. So glad you're here to kick off another weekend with us. And today, Ricky and Scott join me, and this show is for the main characters in our audience, as my wife calls them. And we're talking about where extroverts are going to thrive around Walt Disney World. If you like to get out there and be center stage and have fun and not be embarrassed if you get front and center on your Disney vacation, we've got some shows, restaurants, attractions, places where you're going to thrive on your next Walt Disney World vacation today. Don't forget, today's podcast always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or Disney Cruise Line vacation for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click helps us out each and every time. Please use it. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so much to our Patreon supporters. You guys keep us on the air. We could not do this without you. It's just $5 a month to support the show. And for that support, you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd sure love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2657 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from beourguestpodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Yes, we made it to another weekend here in the spring where it is going to be 80 degrees and stormy here in Missouri. Big storms heading our way, so hopefully everybody stays safe. I know it's been wild down in Central Florida this week. So thinking of our friends down there, but we are going to have a good time today talking Walt Disney World for extroverts, which I think the three of us pretty much are. We're not typically introverts. We'll do introverts next week. So we know we have a lot of folks who would much rather listen to a podcast than get up and clown. But today's for folks like us, the folks who don't mind being behind the microphone. But we're going to do both sides of the story, kind of like Paul Harvey back in the day. So your time to kind of just go to the book nook and listen to the show and be like, what about us? You know, we like to enjoy Walt Disney World, but we don't want to be the star of every show. That's coming next Friday. We promise you. We'll give you your time next Friday. Today is for all of us who don't mind being what my wife always says. I guess this is the new slang. She says, Mike, don't be the main character. I guess that's like the new thing. Like, why are you trying to be the main character?
That's true. Yes, I get that.
The new thing? Yeah. She's like, that person right there is being the main character. And it cracks me up every time. And it makes me feel hip when she's the main character. Anyway, so today's for the main characters. And we're all the main characters. You know, it's just kind of podcasters are main characters, I guess. So today we're going to have a good time and talk some Disney. So joining me, my buddy up in East Lansing. He is the master that puts everything together over at Must See Adventures, and you must see it this weekend. Scotty G, what's going on, Scott?
Happy Friday. Something we didn't talk about earlier on Wednesday's episode, I was just thinking, is that I hope everyone's surviving daylight saving, because I know it's always rough. I dislike it personally, but I am loving the extra sunshine that I have right here, because normally it would be pitch black while I was podcasting right now, but I still have lots of daylight left, so that's awesome.
And you can tell like we are getting older in age because every show starts with either a weather report or how light or dark it is outside. I love that about our show, that we've been around 17 years at this point, and that's where we've gone. Yep. And stay off our grass, if you please. So our podcasting grass. All right. Also joining us, we have Ricky from a Disney World Afterall.com and the Mouse for Less. Happy Friday, Ricky. We made it to another Friday.
Happy Friday, and I am sad because I'm not in Walt Disney World this weekend. So, you know.
I mean, if you're there every weekend, it's not as special. You got to come home and earn the bucks to go back.
It is true. It is true. So, yeah, I've got big plans this weekend, though, of getting my oil changed. Because
see, that is.
I drove back from Florida, and my light came on, and it's like, you need to get an oil change. I'm like, uh-oh. So, yeah, oil change. Let's go.
All right. Well, hey, we got to.
This is what it's like to be an adult podcast episode.
Yeah, exactly.
We used to, our shows. Yeah. We should go back in 2008 and listen to our intros, like about how fancy, like we were just carefree, back then. Now it's just, oh my gosh, life and sore bodies and all that stuff. It's crazy. All right, we have a Karnak. Let me get to the envelope here. We're going to kick off another Karnak from 2014. If you have a Karnak, and if you know what a Karnak is, you can send in one for a show intro. Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. Just put Karnak in the headline, and we will get that as an intro to a new show. Because right now, the last time we did these was 2014, but Scott and I got talking about these a couple of weeks ago, and they're still cracking me up because, one, they're a time capsule of 11 years ago at Walt Disney World, especially today's. And two, I don't know. I find these things hilarious. So here we go. Let me get the envelope. Got to blow into it. And the answer says, we dig. Like seven.
What we do with our wallets?
That's a good answer. Scott, what do you think? Maybe.
The Haunted Mansion gravediggers during the Halloween party. I got nothing.
Oh my gosh, you guys almost both got it. You guys were right around it. But correct answer is, what does the construction crew at the downtown Disney parking garage site sing the whole day through?
Oh. Yeah, that's true.
The parking garage.
Isn't that awesome?
I won't say the name of this podcaster because we don't want to talk about this person, but I just remember the rants that they would do about this parking garage for about 3 years straight.
Took them forever.
It did take a long time. It did take a long time.
Yep.
Remember though how we did like that was it is kind of funny, right? Because we're in 2025 and right now the Rivers of America thing is happening, and like we will survive this. Like we will. They put in Jack Sparrow to Pirates of the Caribbean. There's been, they had the cabanas in Tomorrowland for a hot minute. That was a terrible idea. We all agree. That was stupid. That was the dumbest thing in the history of the world. But I mean, we've gone through all these, some things we thought the world was going to end, and guess, they messed with the Haunted Mansion, but it was for the better, with the staircases and stuff, the Escher stuff. We've made it, and I'm not the biggest fan of I love Rivers of America. I talked about that on Sunday night at the call-in show. I think aesthetically it's beautiful, and I'm not real hot on that change. I think maybe they could put car stuff somewhere else possibly, but you know what? In the grand scheme of things, in a decade, we're all still probably going to be Disney fans. We're all going to be all right, but I remember that for a hot minute, man, people were hot about that parking garage. You know what? It's kind of nice to be able to park at Disney Springs now.
But dig though is so great because it took multiple years, I think, for parking garage.
Multiple years.
Yeah. Nothing happens real fast down at Walt Disney World. Speed's not a thing. Okay, so today I thought we would talk about main characters and extroverts and Walt Disney World, and just kind of go around and talk about where our extroverted friends might enjoy experiences around the parks and resorts. So if you have a family member or a friend and you're traveling and you think, where can I really get them a fun experience? A restaurant, a show, an attraction. Where might they really have a good time? And the first, I'll give you, just kind of lead us off because I threw this on you kind of, 20 minutes ago.
I got 8 answers.
Oh, you do. So you're on. Okay, you're on. So
I have a few. Okay. I've been writing them down.
Good. Okay, then I won't lead us off.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Well, the first one I kind of thought of when I came up with this idea this afternoon, when I was working, was the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular show at the Hollywood Studios, right? Mm-hmm. Now, most people aren't going to get in there or be up on stage, but there is a slight, you got to volunteer for it too. I mean, you're not going to probably get up there unless you volunteer. But if you're an extrovert and you raise your hand and you're sitting up kind of close, you can get up on stage and be a part of the show. And if you are a main character type or an extrovert, we can kind of go back and forth with that today. I kind of like that. You can live your best day being a part of that show, because I know I've been up on that stage. I know Scott's been up on that stage. Ricky, have you been up on that stage?
I have not, actually. I'm gonna throw a hot take. I don't know. I am kind of I've only seen Indiana Jones once. So yeah, I've only done it once. I was like, that's good enough. So, and part of it is just because I never know what time it's showing, and I never like look in the app. I don't care enough to look in the app to see when it's showing, because it's not something that does it for me, like I'm not like, wow, the Indiana Jones thing, let's go see that. But Indy also isn't a movie that I've never seen Indiana Jones. I've never seen a single Indiana Jones movie. So yeah, I don't have a real connection to it either. So that might be why. But yeah, I've only seen it the one time.
I've only seen it a couple times, but I do like the show because the show's got like fire and airplanes blowing up and great stunt sequences. But yeah, we've been up there, and like I remember, like, because it was like one of our very first trips. Paige was pretty young back then, and when I was up there, Paige was like kind of embarrassed that I was up there, and that was half the fun. And then John Pelkey was one of the people on the stage, the Run Disney announcer, and I think he got punched. He took a punch or something, and I did, like, I was totally, this was before we had a podcast or anything. I was like a green, Disney fan. I had no idea what was going on. Because back then you didn't know everything. Like, you didn't have all these videos in your hand all the time. You had like guidebooks from the library, which were 2 years old when you read them. Dude, when he got punched, or that guy, I thought he really got jacked at first. I'm like, what is going on, dude? They just lit this guy up from the audience. Are we all getting lit up or what? I mean, I was like, it was crazy. And it was just, I mean, but it was fun for like an extrovert, but it would have killed an introvert, like being in front of like that whole audience. I mean, I don't know how many people are in there, a couple thousand, I don't know, Scott, what was your experience with Indiana Jones? I mean, it was great for an extrovert.
The same thing. The same thing. Like, I just thought of a great podcast idea. We could talk about moments in the parks or whatever where you were just like really like taken surprise by, because like I have a few of them where like you like spoiler free going into something and like, whoa, did that just really happen?
Exactly.
Like, I actually believed that person like got like smoked like, with a punch.
That's like no way.
And I was just like, I think I grabbed Elizabeth's leg. Like, oh my God, is that person okay? They just volunteered for this show and just got smoked.
That's what I thought too. I was
like she had seen it before, like as a kid. Like, so Elizabeth did go like one time with her family, and because the show has never really changed, so she remembered actually, and like she thought I was so gullible for that. But like, man, I thought it was so real. It was awesome.
And I think they're really good about picking, like the typical kind of Midwestern looking dad guy to get up there. Right. I mean, because I was like a target, because maybe I just have gullible written all over me. Like, this sucker's going up on the stage. And like, I guess you did too. Like, we're getting this guy up there because he's going to be.
It was Pelkey, though. Pelkey was my guy.
Yeah.
He didn't get punched. He was like the director.
Oh, yeah.
Like
He was,
guy,
because the stunt guy, I think, takes the hit because he makes it look
well, it's the.
Because he was in the audience.
I was wearing like a
Hawaiian
shirt.
Yeah. See, now you can. Yeah, there's a trick to know who he is. Yeah, but he came out of the audience because he was like a real eager volunteer.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, wow, that guy really wants to get on stage.
Yes. Then he got lit up. Yeah, exactly. It was awesome. All right, Scott, give us another thing though. That's kind of a good start.
Okay, so if I'm an extrovert, a main character, which I kind of am.
Yeah, you are. We all are.
Like a place I would love to go to, especially if I'm like by myself and no one is with me, I'm going to Trader Sam's Grog Grotto.
Yes.
Like I think I'm gonna have a riot of a time in here. A riot of a time? That's kind of weird. I'm gonna have a ball though. I could just go up to a bar and just interact with everyone, just like hooting and hollering, having an awesome time, getting the drinks, like where they do all these like celebrations. Anytime someone orders like a specialty cocktail, get to talk to the servers and bartenders. I just think that would be the perfect scene for an extrovert.
Yeah, because the thing is, I think extroverts there are just going to enjoy the whole experience more. And even if like your party goes together, if you have an extrovert in the party, it's going to make everybody have, because the bartenders will, they're looking for that because they're going to want to, do the songs, the chants.
They're going to buy into you a little bit. Like, oh yeah, I'm feeding off their energy.
Yes.
So I'm going to give it even more now.
Yeah. I mean, if you get like 3 introverts together at Trader Sam's, they'll serve you the drink, but they're going to read the room, right? They're not going to poke the bear. You know what I'm saying? They're just going to let you enjoy your drink, which, I mean, if you're 3 introverts, that's probably what you want. I mean, that'd be your worst nightmare if all the whole bar singing to you and you're an introvert.
The experience will still be great for everybody that goes in there, but the extrovert might just have like a little happier time. Maybe.
Exactly. All right, Ricky, what do you got? You're muted.
Sorry, I have screaming daughter downstairs, so I make sure I mute up before when I'm not talking to make sure you don't hear her. So, okay, so I am surprised that you all didn't take this one, and I'm gonna take it because it's like easy layup dunk. I mean, hello, you gotta. If you're an extrovert, you go in here all excited and like, yeah, let's go. If you're an introvert, like maybe my brother who hates this, you're not raring to go here. And that's Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor.
Yes.
Yeah, Monsters Inc. And the problem with Monsters Inc. is that you don't know if you're gonna get picked.
I love it. No, I'm kind of always on edge, but I do like the dude, that spotlight could hit you at any time.
It could, and it has hit me before, and you're like, okay. But if you don't want to get hit, you really have no idea. So yeah, I mean, you could end up on that screen, and
that guy.
Some people you can tell they really are appreciative of the fact that they're ending up on the screen. Some people you can tell that they're like, oh, no. So, there's that. But then there's also the audience participation that also occurs during the show where they, do the little skits and stuff like that. So usually in that situation, somebody is a little more willing to volunteer and raise their hand. It's more of just the scenes where, they just pop you up on the screen there. That's a little more panic inducing for someone who's more of an introvert. So actually my brother, ironically enough, will not go on this attraction because he really hates the fact that they pop him up. But I think he had a bad experience one time. So he's
Shut
like, no.
up. You think people really don't go on there because they're scared
Yes.
they're going to get picked?
Absolutely.
Really?
My brother is one of
I've
them.
never thought about that. I've never
My
thought
brother
about
is
that.
absolutely one of them.
'Cause
He
it's
will
so
not go
cute.
on Monsters Inc. because he does not want to get picked. Yes.
Shut up.
Yes.
That's so funny.
See, I
Yeah.
want to, and I never
know,
do.
so I
Yeah,
know.
see, there's the thing.
I want to
like,
be. I think
extroverts are like, let's
that's-
go.
This is why Scott and I are brothers, man. Because I'm like, dude, I just want to be that guy. I just want to be that guy.
Yes.
I want to so bad.
Yes. Yes. No. Yeah, he's definitely like he avoids that attraction most
It
of the
doesn't.
time.
It doesn't need to be that guy. I just want to be on the screen somewhere in
Yep.
the lights.
So don't go on Monsters Inc. if you are a complete introvert because you
Or
will
just go with me
absolutely
because you won't go
hate it.
on. So
Yeah, there's that too.
Well, and here's another thing about that. This is kind of mean, right? But I mean, don't we all kind of as an audience like when they put the spotlight on a total introvert?
Yes.
Like that is the best because it's like you just see them just like, oh no.
Cringe.
Like I
Yeah.
mean,
They
it's like a
purposely
deer in
try
the
to find
headlight.
someone that's panicking, like
Yes.
that's like sweating a little bit, and like, oh yeah, we're gonna put the spot on them.
Oh,
it's
because
so
you know
like-
that they could see the whole audience, so they're looking to see who they want to pick. So yeah.
Because like
Oh,
you
yeah.
can feel. I mean, because I've been on a couple times, right? And like I've had people near me on it, right? So you like that light comes on,
Oh yeah.
and if it's not
And it's
you,
bright
though,
and it's hot.
even if it's not you, but if it's somebody nearby, like you feel like the kind of the
panic?
outside edge of the light, like
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, it's close. You're just
Oh.
like, is it on me?
Is it
And
me?
then you look on the
Nope.
screen. Yeah. Oh my, that's a good one, dude. That is an introvert's worst nightmare. That's a
Yes.
good one.
I'm surprised y'all didn't take that one first because I'm like, it's such an easy layup.
No, there's lots. Okay, my next one going through is a restaurant. It's 50's Primetime Cafe, dude. You
Yep,
do
that
not
was on my
wanna-
list
you do
for
not-
sure.
You do not want to eat at 50's Primetime. It's right next to Indiana Jones. This is like Extrovert Alley right there. Now that I think about it, because they're next door to each other. So go to the show. Watch somebody get smoked in the jaw, be amazed, and then go have some, have a peanut butter and jelly shake and some fried chicken. And somebody could be riding you for 45 minutes throughout your meal. And you just be like, if you're an introvert, this could be just your worst nightmare. Because like, get your elbows off the table, get off your walkie-talkie. And you're just like, if you're an introvert, you're just like, man, I just came here to eat dinner and just have nobody talk to me. And if you get the right cousin serving you, you are not getting that at 50's Primetime. It just depends. Sometimes they don't bother you at all. But I like the interaction. Like I feed into it. Like I don't necessarily like sit there and bam my elbows on the table and do stuff like that. But I also like to have some of that interaction too, because that's the whole shtick of 50's Primetime. So
Yeah, I want to get yelled at
yeah,
so bad.
I mean, I don't want to give them a hard time about it, but yeah, it's like, you want a little bit of it. You want them to come out, and do some of the stuff like, set the table and that kind of thing. So yeah, I think an introvert would kind of be a little on edge at 50's Primetime. I would
Absolutely.
say so. That's
I'm
what
just
I'd
thinking
say.
my brother like probably would not like that meal. My brother and Ricky's brother can hang out. I'm starting to think. But
Shout out Bob. Happy birthday this week. What's up?
oh yeah.
All right, Scott, what you got?
I thought you might have gone with a different restaurant almost
No,
though.
go ahead.
But
I was just
no,
thinking that one.
I don't necessarily want to go that route. But so I'm thinking of something kind of interesting that I don't even know if this happens every night, but you definitely see like at hard ticket events at the Magic Kingdom. But in Tomorrowland, they'll do these like dance parties. And if you're an introvert, you want to stay far away from Tomorrowland, I feel like, because the characters come out and then like you're dancing with all these people. And so I mean you can avoid it, but again, I'm a main character. I am rushing the stage. I'm trying to get up with those characters and start dancing. Find me the host, like, can give me the microphone. I want to sing too with everyone. But I think those are so much fun for extroverted people. You're just out in the Magic Kingdom in Tomorrowland and just hooting and hollering, having an awesome dance party.
That's right. And your your friends and family can get some awesome video of you being, you're on stage, you're a part of the show, you're in there. And I think that's the whole thing is like,
It's like a mosh pit. Like sometimes it gets crazy in there. I love them. Now, do they do those like on every night, or are those just hard tickets? I'm starting to wonder.
Only hard ticket.
Yeah, that's what I was
Is
saying.
it?
Yeah. Every time I walk into Tomorrowland, and I see the stage, there's always the sign that says,
And it makes you sad. Like that
nothing
should
happening today. Yeah,
that
no
should be
event
happening
scheduled.
every night.
Yeah. It would be so easy to do too. Just get a DJ up there. You got the stage already, ready to go.
And a DJ is not that hard to, pay. I mean,
No.
DJs, it's one person. I mean, you pay them well, but it's one person. You get the return on investment for that. Everybody's happy. You
But
get
they're
a
so
lot
cool
of
because you can
guests.
dance with the characters. Like this last time, like the Zootopia characters were out, like during the Christmas party.
Mhm.
Me and Emily, like I think we just got off Space Mountain and we could hear the music. And we just rushed the stage, man. We were just ready to start dancing with Judy Hopps, man. It was awesome.
Get your hops on with Judy Hopps.
There you go.
That's ready to DJ. All right, Ricky, what do you got? Give us another one.
Well, I'm gonna take the one that I think Scott was thinking of for a restaurant. Yeah, I think it's a good
Do
call
it.
because I've had some amazing experiences here, and it's been some of the most fun times I've had, and that's at Whispering Canyon Cafe. I mean, seriously, again, if you go there and you can tell the server, hey, look, I just want to eat. I don't want to be part of the shtick. I don't want to have.
It's like the
fun.
Brazilian steakhouse thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. I look, if I'm asking for ketchup, I really just want one ketchup. I don't want the whole, table full of ketchup or whatever, So you can kind of let them know that you're not into it. And I believe you could probably do the same thing if it's East Prime Time if you've ever, if you go there. But for me, it's always been so fun to go to Whispering Canyon. I don't love the ketchup part, but the other parts I do enjoy because they just have fun with you. They really just have a blast. One time I was dressed up, it was for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. So I was dressed up as Cruella DeVille, and they brought me over puppies, which was whipped cream with chocolate syrup drizzled on top. Like it was just kind of fun stuff like that. And they've one time Brian had his phone out, and they yelled at him for having his phone and talking on it, and they literally put him in jail. So there's just some fun things that happen at Whispering Canyon that the servers will do with you, and it's seriously so much fun. But again, if you're not an extrovert, you would probably not.
Can
enjoy
Casey
your
handle
meal.
that meal? Has he done that one?
I think he has, but we haven't done it together, I don't think. So, because usually if I go for breakfast, and he's usually not up then. So, yeah.
Well, you're up for breakfast?
That's what I was saying. I said,
yeah,
that's
breakfast goes to like
ironic.
noon, so I'm up for breakfast there usually. Yeah. But I love Whispering Canyon. It's great. Hey, I want you all to know that I made it to breakfast at Trattoria Al Forno this weekend at a 10:30 reservation. So I just want you to know. I know. Look at that. I mean, I had to be out of my hotel at 10 o'clock, which I thought was a weird time to have to be out of your hotel room, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of like a classic attraction. I don't know if this one would be fine for introverts or not, more towards the extrovert side. This one's kind of a conservative add to the, these other ones are like extreme pretty much. Like, dude, introverts don't want to touch these
Hope you
things.
don't take mine.
It's Jungle Cruise. And see, it's not really extreme, right? I mean, you can,
Yeah, I get that.
You're probably safe. It's probably safe for introverts, but extroverts might enjoy it more because of the ironic humor, and you can kind of get to be a part I mean, you can. Main characters are kind of frowned upon on that because the jungle skipper is the main character. Obviously, let them be the main character. But sometimes a skipper will draw you in. This could be an introvert's worst nightmare occasionally, not all the time. It's up to the skipper, but the skipper will interact with the people on the boat sometimes. Not very often, but I mean, sometimes like they'll interact with the people in the boat. And if you're an extreme introvert, that could be your worst nightmare. But it's rarely
I think they
happens.
purposely call it's kind of like what we were talking about. Like at the Monsters Inc. Laugh for, like sometimes they'll notice someone that seems like they're not going to do well with this, so those are the people they kind of call out.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say everybody's safe for a jungle cruise. You don't have to ever worry about riding jungle cruise, but every once in a while, you get some skipper with a hair up the rear end that wants to mess with people, and it's hilarious for us main character people because we think it's funny. But I mean, I would imagine that if you're an extreme introvert, probably not your best day. But it rarely happens. But you got to remember, you're probably dealing with 20-year-old kids on the college program every once in a while too that probably don't make great calls. All right, so Scott, what do you got?
It's funny. So Len put one in the chat. I
was thinking
actually
that
had
too.
that on my list because I thought you were going to use it though at one point, Mike. So I didn't say
I
Yeah,
it.
was
it's a
thinking
good
about
one.
it. I was thinking about it. Yeah.
So, and for those listening that are in the chat, it was beer garden. I think
Yes.
beer garden
Yes,
is another-
yeah,
it's a
we
good-
are we are 98% audio podcast here, so that really helps if you
So
can
we may
tell them
wanna
what
share.
it
Yeah,
says.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, which would be, I mean, that's not my answer, but I think that is a really good restaurant one. Like, if you're introverted, like, I don't know, I might have to sit with another family. But I know, Mike, you've done that a bunch going solo. Many
We still haven't
times.
said what it is. It's beer garden because everybody's like,
did
"Well,
say it, I
somebody."
thought. I thought I did say
Oh
it.
no, I don't think he did. It's a beer garden.
Oh, he did. He
Oh,
said
okay,
it.
sorry,
He
I
said
didn't
beer
hear. I didn't hear. I'm again old and didn't hear. We're talking beer garden in Germany over at Epcot because you have to sit with other people and make for. And yeah, my story again is like 3 years ago. I was down on a solo trip. I was hungry. I was starving. I was totally by myself. I just walked up to beer garden, said, "You got space for one?" They're like, "Yeah, come on in." And again, it's communal seating. Sat down with the total family. I had no idea who they were. Ended up they listened to the podcast. I was like, they knew my voice. I'm like, shut up. Like, what are the chances I'd be sitting with a family that knows the show there from Illinois? Because I was like, I showed them my pop socket on my phone. Like, oh yeah, we listen to your show. And they like, we knew your voice sounded familiar. And so then it was like, we're all family here. We're eating schnitzel and Black Forest brownies for dessert. It was the greatest time ever. But as an introvert, dude, don't go there. I'm just saying, like, it'd be that would not be fun, I don't think. Because you're not sitting by yourself. You're not gonna sit there and read a book. It's not happening. Go ahead, Scott. Sorry.
So I had this as my backup to Monsters Inc. Laugh for on my sheet because I figured someone was going to take it.
Yep.
That was Ricky's first pick. So this is more for the kids. So we haven't
Oh,
really talked
see,
about,
this was also on my list.
we haven't
so we're
talked
good.
about children yet. So they're extroverted children, but this is more so like this is awful for the introverted children, and your parents will always make you want to do this, which is
Mhm.
I've seen meltdowns happen in this attraction so many times because of parents forcing their kids on this, and this is Turtle Talk with Crush.
Absolutely, it was one of mine. Yes.
Dude.
I've seen parents forcing their kids to sit in the ocean with Crush, and then they just come back crying, like, no, I don't like it. So, but your extroverted ones are great because they'll ask some awesome questions,
They will.
to Crush.
I
in
love the
game.
questions. I love the questions because sometimes they're a little bit inappropriate.
Yeah, I know.
No, not really inappropriate. They share a little bit too much information sometimes, and it
Right.
makes everybody like, woo.
You had a Magical Miles Radio had a clip of this that I listened to all the time. It was so funny. Because like they would go to the adults too, which they do,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like this is I don't know because because Emily is 17 now, but like I feel like this is almost like a forgotten like classic attraction. I
100%.
still love it. I love, and like we'll still go like just in the audience obviously because Emily's like an adult, but I just love sitting in the back of that room and it's kind of funny observing the parents and the kids like freaking out, but then like once the show gets going, it's so entertaining. So if you have extroverted children, put them in the ocean with Crush, man. It's awesome.
That's such a good call, and it is
Wait.
good for adults.
We took Lucy in there last trip. She wasn't quite ready for it, so we ended up leaving. But yeah, we tried. So
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm with Scott too. Like, when's the last time you heard anybody mention Turtle Talk with Crush?
I don't hear about it that much.
It's buried though in the Seas Pavilion. It's just
Mhm.
people think, oh, the Seas Pavilion's got the Nemo ride, but nobody ever mentions, and it's such a cool experience.
Yeah, and some of the stuff is a lot of the questions are asked are like the same. I hear the same questions
Mhm.
asked every time because kids just have the same
Right,
questions
have the
that
same
they
question.
think about. but like still like it feels different a lot every time you do it, and like and the question like the adult interaction too, like I crack up during that show, and like as an adult with an adult child, like it's still entertaining as heck for me. So highly
Mhm.
encourage you on your next Epcot trip to check it out.
And we should probably throw in real quick because Len is adding, as is K Tiki, both of
Hey,
them.
Len, that's mine.
Okay, well, Ricky has it because this is kind of adjacent to that kind of similar experience where kids could possibly melt down. But go ahead, Ricky.
You are not wrong. Okay, so that is mine. It's totally on my list. I have Enchanted Tales with Belle. And I'll kind of tie this into a different one too, since he kind of mentioned it. But Enchanted Tales with Belle, for those who don't know, it's kind of like a character a plus experience where you go in and they pick kids, most of the time volunteer, but sometimes not so much, usually volunteer though, to want to be part of the show of the retelling of when Belle and Beast fell in love. And so, they go in and they see Belle and they have this character interaction and they kind of go up on the stage. I use that in quotes because it's just in the front, and get to tell the story. And oh my gosh, it is seriously, this is one of those times where my husband got embarrassed because he was chosen as the knight. They do choose two gentlemen to be partake in the show, and my husband was chosen, and he absolutely was so embarrassed by this one.
No, wait, hang on. Brian is a main character for sure, right?
Yeah,
Scott,
no,
Brian's a main
sometimes he's
character.
actually not. He can be,
he
but in
can
this
be.
instance, he was not
sure.
a main character.
I'm just gonna throw out there. I'm batting 1,000 at this. I think I'm like a 5 for 5 or 6 for 6.
Yeah.
I'm being a knight of a suit of armor.
That's
I've
amazing.
never not been
you
one.
just have that look, right?
I've always been a knight too. Yeah.
Well, I always stand on the very end too.
Oh,
like
that-
that is my hack. Like I stand on the end.
Yeah.
And then I just do the most outrageous like marching, and like how could they not pick me?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, we're definitely official knights here. You can call us Sir Mike and Sir Scott from now on.
Got it. Yes.
We've done it before, actually. Me and Mike were the same
Absolutely.
night. in the same show.
Belle was well protected that day.
She was. That's good. That's good. So
Kate Tiki says her husband.
That's a great
knight,
pick
too.
though. I totally agree.
it
And,
is.
like
It is.
yeah, if
But-
it's a lot of adults, sometimes they're like really struggling to like find like children.
Kids to be a part
Yeah.
of the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen them include adults sometimes, but usually, yeah, it's just the kiddos who do that. But I will throw in one more just to kind of like tie in, because it's kind of like a tie-in. This is like a character experience plus, so like it's a character meet and greet plus, like you're meeting Belle, but there's a story tied to it. However, I will say for introverts, meeting characters is not the best thing in the entire world. Extroverts do a little bit better. However, even I still have trouble sometimes meeting characters, and that makes me a little uncomfortable. It's better now that I have Lucy, because I at least have her to toddle around. Although she hates meeting characters right now, so maybe someday she will like it. But actually meeting characters and having, for me, it's really more the face characters I have a little more trouble with.
Same.
Because
So,
you
yeah,
actually
that-
have to have an interaction with them, and
Yes.
sometimes that could be awkward. I do a little bit better, with characters like Mickey and Minnie and stuff like that, where they have to pantomime too. So that's a little bit better. I don't know why, but yeah, it's still kind of nerve wracking, even for an extrovert, to actually meet characters, because you just are like, I don't know what to talk about, and I don't want to just stand here and take a picture. So what are we gonna do? Yeah.
So,
So,
I'm
yeah,
with you.
that's
I'm
fine.
with you, because that is kind of can be an awkward situation, especially like as an adult without kids and you're trying to meet
Yes.
characters. That's like, especially face characters. It's
Exactly.
easier with like just meet Mickey Mouse because he's not going to talk back. He's
Right.
like, meow, or whatever, make the sounds in my head. He doesn't make the sounds I do in my head. Like he's going, meow, I don't know, whatever. I'm an idiot.
That's good.
Okay, so I'm going to steal Jason's because he's up in Michigan here and he's tuning on live on Facebook. Appreciate him being here. And I think that a place that introverts probably
yeah.
squirm and extroverts can have an enjoyable experience throughout property is Disney transportation in general. He mentions, he says,
Yeah.
want to make friends real fast? Get in a Skyliner with random other extroverts. So I have had, I love talking Disney with other folks on Disney transportation, like especially Skyliner bucket. I'm on a solo trip. I get in there with other people, and by the time we're, hit Epcot or hit Caribbean Beach, man, it's like we're friends. Like, hey, what'd you do today? Where are you from? And that's just me, like it's like we just did a 7-minute podcast, it's like we had a good time. Same thing on a boat, on a bus, it doesn't
You
matter.
should
On the
record
monorail.
footage for that for future episodes. It'd be so good. Random Skyliner conversations.
It's like, yeah, didn't they do like something in a cab, like Seinfeld or somebody did? But yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, I think that a lot of introverts probably, like, please give me my own cab, like on the Skyliner, and hopefully this bus is not full. I can get a couple of, Len says, and I agree, like introverts probably love the social distancing back in the day during COVID, where we must keep 4 seats between us and the next guest. I mean, that's perfect, right? But I'm a people person. I just love, if you got on a Disney Cruise Line hat of, hey, just get back from a cruise. Did you enjoy it? I don't know. You got to read the room. Sometimes people don't want to talk, but if you're at Walt Disney World, you're probably a Disney fan and you have that in common. Or if somebody's got a LSU, gear on, hey, what'd you think of the Tigers this year? Boom. I mean, LSU fans are going to talk your football the whole rest of the way. I promise you that. You trust me. So you find that connection and you make a friend there for a few minutes. That's just kind of an extra. But Disney transportation really lends itself to to connections there. So let's go one more time for Scott and Ricky, and we'll call it a Friday. So we got Scott. One more.
Mine's kind of on this line, and it's more like an extrovert for sure would seek this out, but it's like an introvert nightmare. I feel like. And that's single rider lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I get you.
That might be the winner of all. Totally.
I get it.
That's like
yes.
the lottery of totally.
But because like an introvert is probably like by themselves anyway too. Like I think a lot of the times like, oh, I'm just gonna go spend some time by myself. But maybe they're like with a partner or family too. But like you cannot do single rider lines because you are going to have to talk to someone, maybe, or it's just going to be really awkward when you're sitting next to someone on Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever it might be. And like, yeah, it's just, you got to kind of look at them, or you're on Expedition Everest and like, I am always talking to them. And then like, I feel like they freak out.
No, that happened at like I did Everest single rider this past weekend, and like the lady that I was riding with didn't talk to me at all once, like didn't make eye contact.
See, and she was
with
probably
me.
part of a group, and she was like, "Oh my god, now I have to sit next to a stranger." So
Exactly. She's like, "Shut up."
She avoided the
She was
single
there with her
rider line
two
and still was in it.
And her 2 sons were in front of her, and yeah, like she like didn't look at me. She didn't say a single word to me. I didn't talk to her either because I'm like, I clearly don't want to be talked to.
I always talk to people.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those situations just a couple of days ago.
Yeah. But so me as an extrovert, I love the single rider lines because I love just talking to people. I'm like, oh, have you done this before? Like I ask them a bunch of questions, and they're probably like, I'm sure like I'm great family stories for people. Like, remember that one time like that one guy was so obnoxious to me?
So me too.
And then I'm in the photo like like all crazy.
Exactly. Shooting deuces with them, man. It's like, who's your cousin? I don't know who that guy is.
So single rider lines are great for extroverts, awful for introverts.
That's the best call ever.
That's a good one.
Because it's it's like the introvert is like the big wheel spinning like on Let's Make It Do. There's like whatever it lands on, this is gonna be my worst nightmare. But if it's like Scott or I, it's like, oh my god, I just hit the worst slot ever.
Well, when Emily was younger, we would actually kind of scope it out, like okay, Emily, that family seems good for you. You can sit with them.
So funny. Oh my gosh, introverts right now are just sweating bullets through this whole show.
But then here's the thing.
Canceling trips left and right.
An introvert who is with a party of, say, an odd number of 3 or 5 or something like that, and they end up on, with a single rider, that's probably even worse for them.
That's just rude to your family member. You should never let that person be the odd one.
Yeah, because I'm sure that they're like, oh man, they're adding a single rider to my car.
I hope Len's party size next month is an even number.
Yeah, I agree.
Len has a really big trip coming up next month. Len, do not email me to say this trip is canceling, but we're coming back next Friday with how to make an awesome trip for introverts. That's coming next Friday. We're going to save you. Give us 7 days. I promise you. We're going to make this right. Okay, Ricky, close us out. One more thing for extroverts.
So I feel like this is one as well, and it may not be a big one, but for an introverted kind of family or whatever, this may be like a worst case scenario, and that's Millennium Falcon, because they'll, if you are the ones who are in the front, then there's a huge amount of panic because you're driving the ship, right? So you got the people behind you who are mad at you because you're running into things. Exactly. No pressure there. Exactly. And then, if you are like a smaller group, they may add another party into your cabin because it's a party of 6. So then you're stuck with people that you don't know, and you have to work together to try to complete the mission of getting the coaxium. So like it's a terrible situation for parties of 4 or less, because you really just are stuck because you've got somebody else in your cabin with you. So I feel like that's a pretty bad case for introverts for sure. If you're an extrovert, you're like, cool, more people the merrier. But yeah, introvert, no, not so much on that one.
Scott, I'm so impressed that Ricky knew coaxium. How about that?
Hey, look at me. I know things. Who knew?
That's so awesome.
That is amazing.
Yeah, because I was almost going to put like Rise of the Resistance almost on there, because like
I thought of that too. Yeah.
like once you're like past like the stormtroopers, like the crew like will kind of talk to you and
They
interact
will.
with you, and that could be frightening.
Yeah.
You know,
And
a little bit.
they are in character, and they will yell at you, and like if you are not up to play in that situation, you're like, dude, they were so rude to me. But it's part of
they might need one of those detonator bottles, right, Mike?
Yeah, exactly. If you know, you know, as they say on the internet. All right. Well, hey, this is fun today. Next week we'll do introverts will struggle. I mean, because dude,
I do feel like we're gonna struggle on that one.
Hopefully,
for
I
sure.
won't be called for next week's episode.
Yeah.
Scott's already like, no,
Yeah.
I'm good, I'm out.
I don't know anything about being an introvert, but I'll try to fake it till you make it. Next, so we'll need suggestions in the clubhouse. BRGuestPodcast.com/clubhouse. Please help me. But yeah, we're gonna do that and continue. Go over to the clubhouse and give us some more suggestions. We'll continue the conversation through the weekend. As far as other experiences for main characters around Walt Disney World, where do main characters and extroverts thrive? And we'll have some fun with that on the thread. We just love talking about this. It's fun. And we'll do that on Sunday night as well. We'll have the call-in show, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Give us a listen. Throw it on the big TV as you wrap up the weekend on Sunday night. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. And give us a call. We'd love to take your call and continue the conversation on Sunday night. Don't forget today's show and all our shows, always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel, proudly. And we'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure for no additional cost to you. Just check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so much to our Patreon supporters. You guys make all this possible. Just $5 a month is all it takes to support the show, and we really appreciate that. And for that support, you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. So come on over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. You can follow us on the social media at Be Our Guest Mike is where you'll find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. You can follow Scott at EpScott, EPSCOT, and Ricky Nibs at RIKKINIBS is where you'll find Ricky. Scott's also over on YouTube. Check out his channel as he pushes for 1,000 subscribers here soon at Must See Adventures. Again, Scott, real quick, what's happening over on the channel?
It's a shorter episode, so I wasn't sure if I was going to do like daily episodes or like just do one long episode of our trip. So I didn't really record a lot of footage this day. So it's going to be our featuring the Hoop-de-Doo at Christmas, which is awesome. So hanging out at the fort, hanging out at Hollywood Studios. I tried an interesting snack at Primo Piatto. You got to check it out.
Oh, Primo Piatto. Chef's kiss. Love
Very
it.
interesting snack, Mike. I don't even know if you'd like it or not. So you have to tune in and see it.
Tuning in. All right, Ricky, what's happening over on a Disney World Afterall.com news and reviews, I'm guessing?
Yeah, we got some reviews coming up, some big stuff there. And on the socials, I've got some videos that I recorded this past weekend that I'm getting edited up, as well as, additional news and stuff like that I'll edit a video for, with whatever's breaking or anything like that. So make sure you follow along. If you want to see what's going on at the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival this week, though, you definitely want to check it out because I've got a video that's coming up for that. So if you're going to the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival, this is the video you want to see.
And get me one of those fancy Bomkuchkins over at
See,
Connections.
I didn't get one of those. There was a huge line.
I almost went over on Saturday night because I left Olivia's at like 7:45 and Epcot closed at 9, but I was like, my stomach was kind of hurting. So I was like, I really don't need one. Oh, and I didn't tell the story I was going to tell real quick. I had beignets back in the room, left over from French Quarter the night before. My dad didn't know what a beignet was. So we had gone to Olivia's the day before and had dinner. And he said Olivia's was the best meal he had had in over a year. He loved the buttermilk chicken. Loved it. So good thing. So
It's good. It's a good meal.
So we were going to have dessert. We had dessert the night before at Coronado. That's where we were staying. I said, you know what? We're going to have a different dessert because we had a car. We're not, we're at Old Key West, right next to French Quarter, because of Veronica and Jason and all their adventures at French Quarter with Mardi Gras and everything that week before, and I'd seen all the beignets. I'm like, I'm taking you over to show you one more hotel while we're in the neighborhood. So I showed him French Quarter. I was like, and we're going to get a cool dessert. So I got into, get the beignets. He didn't even know what a beignet was. My dad's like, what are we getting? What are those called? I was like, a beignet. He's like, what's a beignet? I'm like, don't you work for the Rams? Don't you go to New Orleans all the time? Like, you've been there for a Super Bowl. You've been there for like playoff games with the Rams. Like, you go down there when they play the Saints. He's been in New Orleans multiple times. He's never had a beignet. He didn't know what a beignet was. I'm like, dude, it's a donut. It's a donut. It's a Mickey-shaped donut with powdered sugar. He fell in love with them because we took him back to the hotel room. Powdered sugar all over my dad, just all over the bed, all over the nightstand. I was trying to keep it off of my phone. Powdered sugar was everywhere. But by the way, my dad loves Mickey-shaped beignets now, just for the record.
Heck
but,
yeah, those are my favorite too. I love those ones.
But I mean, the Clubhouse, again, friends of the podcast, Jason and Veronica, bad influences, but God, those beignets were good. And but yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but that was awesome. So anyway, we're gonna close it out.
Dessert. That's why you didn't go to Epcot.
No, that's why I didn't get a Bon Kuchen, because I had like 4 more beignets because he's like, we're getting a 6-pack. I'm like, it'd be a mistake to get a 3-pack. You kidding me? We're here. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's like $6.
Well, you would have waited a really long time in line for a Bon Kuchen because mobile order. I think that one you had to mobile order actually, and it was. When I looked the night before, it was a 30 to 45 minute wait for the cafe. So I was like, nah, I'm good.
See,
and the line for Starbucks was ridiculously long too. So you missed out, but you didn't miss out. You're fine.
And I just went back and ate a couple more beignets in the room, and my stomach was hurting anyway. But I was like, I'm not wasting these beignets. So boom. And I was like my dad. My dad was gone by that point.
I don't know how you saved the beignets. I can't. Like,
you just devour them all in one sitting, right?
Well, we had 6, and there was only 2 of us. I mean, there was a lot.
And your point? I mean, Scott and I are both like, and you each have 3.
I
always have my own 3-pack. What are you talking about?
I know. And it's why I love our friends, because
I don't
they
usually
enable
have
us to
my
do
own
fun
3-pack,
things like
just
this.
for the record. That's only after a Run Disney race.
Exactly. All right, we're jumping out of here. Hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you on Sunday night. Let's talk some Disney. For Scott and Ricky, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.